After just one day with the Z Flip 5, Samsung have proven that I am completely wrong in thinking not enough can change in 1 year for it to be worth it. In the case of the Flip 5 versus the Flip 4, the Flip 5 has got me, even as a Fold user, shaking in my boots. Let's start with unboxing and see what we get inside the Z Flip 5. And of course, with a slim box comes no charger, but just the phone, USB-C to C cable, and the standard paperwork with the SIM ejector tool. Now, let's compare the Z Flip 5 to what we have with the previous Galaxy Z Flip 4. Now, the color I have here is the mint color. And when we look at the design, you can see that that's one of the most immediate things you're gonna notice. It's the new hero color compared to the lavender of the Z Flip 4 that I had from previous. And of course, when we look at the materials and what we have, the finish is slightly different. They have gone with a glossy finish compared to a matte finish on the Flip 4. So I will say, in terms of the finish and the feel, I do like the Flip 4, but lots of improvements have been made here. And the obvious is the outer cover display, which is now 3.4 inches, and it's shaped in the shape of a folder. But actually, compared to what we have with the Flip 4, this is such a noticeable improvement. Now, the biggest one for me has got to be the zero gap hinge, or the near enough zero gap hinge, which overall makes it slimmer. This was one of the complaints I had when I reviewed the Flip 4, that yes, visually and aesthetically, this is something that just didn't look as good, and then too many things were just ending up in the phone. And I know they were doing this before to support the IPX8 rating for the protection against elements, but we've still been able to maintain it here, and it just feels that much better, even though I do prefer the matte finish on the Flip 4. And of course, newer materials upgrade with Gorilla Glass Victus 2 Glass 4, the flex window as they call it, or the cover display, and the rear back panel compared to what we have here, which is Victus Plus. Again, there is a dispersion layer, and it's meant to be more durable, lighter, and well put together. This is such a well-rounded package now, and I think they did a great job. As much as I would have loved a matte satin finish to the metal frame, like what they used to do with the, what was it, the Mystic Bronze edition of the Fold 2, still one of my favorite foldables. This is a great improvement compared to what we have on the Flip 4. And we mentioned before, the biggest improvement to the Flip 5 compared to what we have here with the Flip 4 is the display, specifically the outer cover display. It's now a 3.4 inch display. Yes, it's running at 60 Hertz, and the resolution is 720 by 748 res. But overall, this is such a noticeable upgrade that it's really made this way more fun than I was expecting it to be. The inner display though, yes, it's still a 6.7 inch display with a 2640 by 1080p resolution. It is still using a 120 Hz LTPO display, which can go all the way down to 1 Hz up to 120 Hz, which is variable and adaptive, pretty much like what you found previously on the Flip 4, but there is more. Now, with my initial hands-on and briefing with the Flip 5, a lot of the attention was actually on the Fold 5 when it came to the improvements to the display, specifically brightness. Not much was mentioned on the Flip 5. There was a slight mention of a high brightness mode, but when I actually measured it with my initial impressions with it, wow, I was getting over 1,800 plus nits for the inner display, and for the outer display, we're getting close to 1,700 nits. This is such an impressive upgrade that I really wish Samsung put more emphasis on it, because for outdoor situations, it's gonna come in so much handy, and it's noticeable. Compared to my measurements of the Flip 4, yeah, I was very much impressed with the outer cover display, and also, especially the inner display when it came to the brightness. Yes, specs may be one thing in terms of being the same, but there's big improvements all around, and it being more visible, that's something I definitely am feeling and liking on the Flip 5 so far. Now, initially, I did have what felt like a placebo effect, because the crease did seem like it had improved, but honestly, side by side, it was not really much different. This is something that I've struggled with when it comes to Flip phones compared to the Fold phones, because you feel you do interact with the crease a lot more compared to the Fold. But overall, I think the display greatly improved, way more than expected, especially for the outer cover display and also the inner display on the Flip 5. Now for the specs and performance, wow, have they done a great upgrade compared to the Z Flip 4. We are now using the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 mobile platform built for Galaxy, which is a slightly overclocked, overtuned and optimized version of the standard 8 Gen 2. Now we saw this in the Galaxy S23 series with the Ultra Plus and the 23 standard, and it's here. So that means in terms of improved performance and efficiency, this is something that it's gonna benefit from, and I think it needs it. Again, more testing is needed when it comes to the battery experience, as it's only been a day with the Flip 5. But the biggest improvement here is there is no more a 128GB model for the storage. Yes, you still get 8GB of RAM, but as stated before, it's LPDDR5X RAM, which is faster and should be more efficient. And now we do have UFS 4.0 storage compared to 3.1, so it should be faster as well. So overall, it's well packaged, 256, 512 gigs, still no 1TB, no microSD, which is obviously expected. One thing I did want was actually having a dual nano SIM card slot. Like on the Folds, it's still eSIM and physical nano SIM, but that's more down to me. Pretty much no improvement compared to what we have with the Flip 4. But overall, the 8 Plus Gen 1 on here was no slouch, and I think this is still a decent upgrade, but more testing will be needed. But with my initial hands-on, when it comes to things like gaming, which my game of choice was Asphalt 9 when I was testing it, the battery efficiency was really, really good. And it was not even warm or hot to the touch, unless I had to really put it next to my cheek, but actually in hand, it was really well managed and the battery was efficient. And of course, you could actually play this at the highest graphical settings as well. So overall, although things like DeX is missing, which is not the target audience for such a device like this, the performance so far has left me very impressed. Now for the camera experience, things on paper pretty much seem the same, but if you've been here before, then be sure to make sure you are subscribed and tuned in with notifications on, because I will be doing an ultimate camera comparison between these two to really see if there is more than what meets the eye when it comes to the specs, because Samsung are confident that with the new image signal processor ISP built into the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 mobile platform built for Galaxy, what a mouthful, you should be getting better performance when it comes to pictures and videos with things like low light, stabilization, overall image quality. But I will say this, things have greatly improved when it comes to the camera experience, especially when using the outer cover display with the main cameras, with the main wide and ultra wide. But there are still some quirks in there that kind of leaves me wanting a bit more. Minus not having a third zoom lens with at least a 3x or ideally in my case a 5x. There's some quirks when it comes to the outer cover display getting the best image quality specifically for video. Now one thing I do like is that they've improved the communication of the orientation, whether you're using horizontal and also vertical. It does tell you when you're switching from 9:16 to 16:9, whether you're vertical or not. But the trick here is this, there is a quirk that once you're using a full screen view, you're only limited to 1080p. Right? You're mostly limited to 1080p. To get the best image quality, you do have to make sure you come out of the full mode and go into the 16:9 or the 9:16, depending on what orientation you're in, to get the maximum ability to shoot in 4K 30 or 4K 60. Another thing that I complained about previously is still not having the ability to shoot 4K 60 on the main ultra wide angle lens. This is something you can do on the selfie, this is something you can do on the main wide lens, but the ultra wide is still limited to just 4K 30. So just bear that in mind. Again, in my full review, I will break down and show all the quirks as well as the image quality difference compared to the Flip 4. Overall, the camera quality seems to be in the right direction, but more testing is needed. But initially, I will say that it's not gonna steer me away from being a Fold user just yet. Now for the software experience, and yes, this is running One UI 5.1.1 on Android 13 compared to One UI 5.1. Latest security update for July going into August, and we know One UI 6 of Android 14 is around the corner very soon. But while I would say the software experience is what's left a bigger smile on my face than expected, but with one caveat. The biggest thing you've really got to initially do is download GoodLock, and there is a catch to that. Yes, GoodLock is region specific. Your Galaxy store might not have GoodLock, but if it does, definitely download it. go to the Life Up section, download download Multi-Star and enable widgets. This is what's gonna allow you to be able to use pretty much any app that you want on a cover display, such as things like Instagram, even gaming, Twitter. And what really surprised me when I was testing this, right? How well it scales. I was playing Asphalt on a cover screen and it was scaling perfectly. Instagram was scaling, near enough perfectly, and Twitter was scaling perfectly. It made it feel so much more fun to use than I even expected. The software experience, as you can see right here, it's so much more fun. It felt way more fun than I was expecting, and this outer cover display really does add to it. Again, I'm gonna need more time to really delve in and see what else I can pretty much do with it with the new widgets and also the new cover displays. There's so much happening here, but you need Good Lock. Download Good Lock, and I do wish Samsung put more of these features in their labs section of the software, but overall, I will say the software is way more fun than I expected, and it pretty much shows that Samsung really are the kings of this specialized phone form factor with flexible displays. And now with the cover display, yes, this is something that I'm really digging so far. Now, battery experience, comparing it to the Flip 4, it's the same capacity, 3,700 milliamps, 25 watt wired charging, but you do have an improvement to 15 watt wireless charging and still the same 4.5 watt for the power share. Again, no charger in the box, USB-C to C, use your previous charger, or get up to the 25 watt super fast charger that Samsung calls it, or you can use the old 15 watts wired charging or fast charging. Let me know if you want to see a video comparison on that. I might just do it to see how much more worth it is to get the 25 watts. But I will say this, it's still up in the air. I'm still testing it. It is meant to be more efficient, but some have said that it's near enough the same based on the offset of the bigger cover display, which is also brighter, and the brighter inner display as well, even though you do get the efficiency of the 8 Gen 2 mobile platform built for Galaxy. So more testing is needed on the battery experience, but I would have loved to definitely have seen an increase close to 4,000 milliamps, if not 3,900, but let's see how that goes in the future. But for now, still the same capacity, more testing needed on the battery. Is the Flip 5 going to make me switch from my beloved Fold? No, it's not. Again, there's just certain requirements that I value so much in my mobile device, especially having a proper high-end dedicated zoom experience. But what I will say is this is the first flip phone that has really made me consider it strongly. Compared to when I had hands-on, this has brought a much bigger smile on my face. And yes, there are things that it could have improved, such as having a high refresh rate on the outer cover display as well at 120 Hz to match the experience, even if it wasn't LTPO, a bigger battery, faster charging, other things to consider. But I think as a complete package, even with the price at 1,400, no, not 1,400, get it right, £1,049 for the base 256, this is doing great. And if you are a Flip person, even compared to the Flip 4, I will say this, within a year, just like what it was from the Fold 1 to the Fold 2, it's way more worth it than even I thought so far. What do you want to see in my full review and testing period with the Flip 5? Let me know in the comment section below. That's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.